answer yes. So what does a gun look like? I always wondered what gun is.
Okay.
Is the gun bigger than a football? Well, if you want to talk a language, if you want to talk gun language, man, I got to get down on your level. You're going to have to define what gun is to me.
Yeah.
What they say is what gun is. I don't even know how you spoke the same language when they said, is Bob in a court. I don't even know why you even looked towards them. You say, hey, man, I'm jumping noise.
Yeah, this was a long time, Carl. This was 2 years ago, nearly.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
As long as it was 2 years ago. I thought it was like yesterday you did it. I was like,
no. This was 2009.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But obviously, I've come across you now, so that's not going to happen.
You came across both? You came across both of them?
I came across the man, Karl Lentz.
You came across the. It wasn't something from England was talking the other week, and I started to understand what I'm saying. When they say the, thou, so.
That's right, yeah, that was me, Karl, that was me.
See, there you go. So when I say I came across the, came across thou. You see, we got to get rid of around this word you, because this word you is just really causing a lot of trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
So when I see the, thou, people go, well, why you got to talk all uppity? Why can't you talk, retarded like everybody else in this country? Why can't you just say you? That way we get them joined up. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Everybody else doesn't care. Why do you care?
Or one, remember, because the Queen addresses one will do this, or would one like a cup of tea?
Right.
So,
not you, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What, there's 2 play sets here at the table? Why you got 2? Well, there's one for you and one for you. Well, then, shouldn't you have 4?
Yeah.
You go really silly real quick, because it's gutter language. Like I said, even if people go to university, half their lives, they talk, and they talk that gutter language that we've been taught.
It's a hard thing to shake, colloquially. Locally, we understand what we're saying because obviously we know stuff. Yeah.
Right. But you can look back at somebody else's. I was on somebody else's website a couple of years ago named Mark Stevens, and they were going insane. All those guys on that blog were going insane. Like, why are you talking like this? Why are you talking in riddles? Why are you doing this? I said, dude, that's proper. That's the way this is exactly how I would tell you in talk in court. I was like, why are you talking in riddles? Dude, it's not riddles. So everybody was just bashing the hell out of me on that blog site. So like I said, it's just like anybody else. They'd say to me, oh, Carl, what are you doing on your case? Carl, what are you doing on your case? It's like, dude, when you even know how to write one piece of paper, then worry about what I'm doing on step number 3 when you can't even get past step number 2. So why should I bother defining what I'm doing on step number 3? I'm in step number 3 right now. Do you even know how to write a piece of paper? Well, no. Well, dude, so why would I bother sitting here and explaining what I'm doing on my case? I try to give you guys an idea where I'm going with this, but obviously I can't tell you every single detail because it just confused the hell out of everybody. I was like, well, how did you get it to this point, Carl? Well, this is what I believe, this is what I wrote, and now this is how I'm going to move the court. Now I'm going to go into the open court. This is what I'm doing next. And then I'm going to enforce the judgment. So, like I said, first you guys got to even have the idea, the concept of what I'm doing and how the courts even work. You got to get the belief down. And that's what all these past 80 shows was just the belief. Nothing about writing. I haven't said, look, you do this, do this, do this. I haven't even started that yet. Yeah. I haven't even done anything in open court. Like, people are like, oh, let's do moot court, mock trials. Like, yeah, right. Well, first, let's have we do the paperwork. Because the paperwork, if you do the paperwork right, they'll just laugh. They'll go, oh, this is good, oh, this is really good. And they'll run like, oh. I'm like, oh, we're not taking this, we're not going open court with this guy. Mm-hmm. So like all the people I've done helped so far, everything's stopped at the paper level. When they walk into open court, they just, give me back my property, or this is the best I can pay you, the best I can pay is $5 a month, or $30 a month, and get back off.
This is what I was saying to Bally earlier, Carl, is that a lot of the people who are listening to the show, it's the processes that you're talking about that everyone's waiting with eager breath for this. It's the process of the letter writing, holding them at bay, letting them understand your status as a man on paper before they've even seen you, which is, I suppose, the exciting part. This is one of the things that we want to try and tie down. My main focus point, anyway, when you do get here, is to understand that, so I can put some modules together and try and teach people how to put together proper correspondence.
Oh yeah, what's good is when people see me face to face, and I actually have like a chalkboard, a blackboard, or whiteboard, or whatever you want to call this. Whiteboards now. It makes life a lot easier, because it's like, okay, what don't you truly understand? Just hit me exactly. And now I'm sitting here face to face with you. What would you like me to do? Yeah, and then I just actually spell it all out. Like I said, the folks from Wisconsin, and man, Chris, I don't know if he's listening, but I finally did hear back from the folks in Indiana who brought me out there. He called me up Friday or Saturday, and today's Saturday. He must call me Thursday or Friday. I think today's Sunday, and so it's been a while. He was busy working, I've been busy. So like I said, we're gonna try to get those tapes going. But yeah, I went down to the courthouse today. Courthouse on Friday to get passport. So I gotta see how soon.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that hard for me to get one, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
What's the process for you, Carl? Are you applying for a passport in a conventional manner, or?
Yeah, watch. Well, it's gonna be fun. And this is gonna be fun. I don't want to tell.
Okay. You don't want to say too much.
Can you get on my website over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Valerie said you couldn't get on.
Yeah. The problem is that he's trying to do it from his phone.
Okay.
And I think that unless you have like a mobile app.
Right. That's what I was trying to explain to him. That his phone is trying to protect him from like a foreign website.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. It doesn't recognize a .org like you folks have, like .uk or .co.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you guys don't have.
I'm sure he'll be fine if he used the PC. He'll be fine. Actually, I sent you an email from a company email address, my company email address, which is colin@proclens.co.uk. You didn't recognise it, and you sent a link back to your website saying, "Hi, this is my website." And then I realised that I normally send you emails from IMID. So, but in that email, I was just saying it was nice to talk to you last week, and I sent you a link for the YouTube channel, because that talk that I gave. Do you remember that email now?
Somebody sent me a link to a YouTube channel, but I thought it was a woman, so I guess you better send it again, because I could have sworn it was a woman who sent me something.
I've lifted it up. I put it in the chat as well.
What was it? Well, yeah, I gotta wait to log on. That's what I've been doing. My computer just takes forever right now. It says
but the YouTube channel is Gabrielle Moore.
That's it. So I thought it was a woman, right? I guess you say Gabrielle or Gabriel, right? Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel is in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So Gabriel.
I've uploaded the videos of that seminar, of that talk, rather.
Okay.
So I just wanted your feedback on that. So once you've got that opportunity to look at it, just send me an email, please, and tell me what you think. I know you can slaughter me if you want to, but it was my first presentation, and there's a lot of your information in there, which I've simplified for people. So the objective of bringing you here is so I can do more of that, really. So I just want to make sure that the information is correct, so I'm not misleading anyone in any way. So I really appreciate your feedback on that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I try to say to folks, man. I try to lay the base down as much as I can, so when I go any place, it's pretty simple, cut and dry. Yeah. To me, this stuff is so simple, it's scary. Like I said, folks hear me do feeding livestock out here. I'm driving down the road eating liverwurst. Like, hey, I got to know. Hang on a second. I'm doing 70 miles. Just relax a second. Here, folks, hang on. Got to my winter wife. I'm doing it right off the top of my head. Just because of me, somebody said that to me. Lynn said that to me. He said, "Oh man, did you hear what you said on Angel's call on Thursday?" I said, "I hope so. I said it." He said, "Well, do you remember what you said?" I said, "Dude, I don't remember half the stuff I say." He says, "Let me play it back for you. You got to really hear what you said." So it was almost impossible to listen on the telephone. And he's like, "Oh, okay." Then he tried to say what I said, like verbatim what I said. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Usually I'm good when somebody's like, she had a really good guest on. So when there's like a really good opponent, I'm really good because I like get like all psyched up. It's like, all right, like you're playing a fight. You know, you're in a game. You know, you're only as good as your opponent. So when because if your opponent isn't very good, you're going to relax. You're going to be like, this is a piece of cake. I really don't got to try too hard." Mm-hmm. But the opponent's really good. So it's like, oh boy, this is going to be good. I've seen his videos and I've seen his style, and Dean Clemens is the same style as him. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be good. This will be fun. And then the guy said to me, he said, "Boy, that was good." And that's why I said it. And I said, "Thank God, man, these things are recorded." Because I couldn't repeat that again, just off the top of my head. Yeah. Was that this past Thursday? This Thursday, yeah. See, somebody has to challenge me. When somebody challenges me, then I could dig down really deep, and just pull it out of my shoe and say, "Hey, got it. This is how you do it." And say, "Oh, that was good, Carl. How you not pat myself?" I said, "Man, that was good." But I'm only as good as my opponent. If I'm not pushed, I got to push back. If I'm pushed hard, I got to push back harder. Yeah. So what was it that was said? You remember? If wins on Wednesday. Yeah,
it was Thursday night. It was Thursday night after the 2-hour, 32-minute mark. It's when the guy from Chicago, Illinois came on.
Malik.
Malik. Okay, Malik was asking you about how did you recognize a change of jurisdiction or something, and you said, the fluidity of the jurisdiction.
How did the judge recognize? Right. How did the judge recognize in Phoenix when just a normal woman who has no clue about law, has no idea what I'm doing whatsoever, how in the world did she pull it off? And I said, because the judge noticed it. She didn't have to, the judge noticed certain key words that she was using. And the judge took it from a statute under a code, under a contract, to where she's evoking common law. And it was, like I said, what did I say, fluid, dynamic, whatever, it was good. Because I was pushed. When somebody pushes me, somebody pushes me and tries to make me look dumb, let's do this. And then, man, I'll just start digging down deep and start grabbing it from the bottom, like, hey, man, I haven't had to dig down this hard in a long time. This is fun. And some people, like I said, when I used to do that to poor Mr. Hall, he started cursing at me. He didn't like to be challenged. He just wanted everybody to go along with his nonsense, and I'm not going along with it. And I don't want people to go along with my nonsense. Because when a bondsman came up here from Tennessee, I said to the man, hey, look, when I give these folks advice about bonds, sureties, escrows, I said, am I right? He says, oh, you're dead on. I said, look, if I'm wrong, you call me up, you right in the middle of my show, and you say, Carl, put stock in it. This is how it really happens, and this is what it's really all about. I said, so if you do this for a living, please let us know, because, you're the expert. I said, I'm just doing this test on what little experience I have. I have maybe a month of bonds experience in my whole life. This guy's got 40 years of experience dealing with bonds and escrows and sureties. He's got years that this is all he does. So as long as I make him happy, I know I'm on the road. When you got somebody doing it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, so like I do with the judges, they laugh. They go, oh, this is good. This is really good. Because this is all they do. They sit on that bench for 10, 20, 30 years. That's all they do. If you can make them laugh, you're doing good. Because they've heard it all. They've seen it all. They've heard it all. There ain't nothing in that 30 years sitting in that little room that they ain't. So if you can make them laugh, you got something going on. And that's all I try to do. I just try to make them, say, hey, you know what? I like that. Because this is all based on belief. That's all this is based on. Who could make the other side believe? It's being a judge, like an American Idol. And that's all the jury is. And that's what they say. How some of these attorneys come into court and they throw their hands up and down. They put on performance. Because that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to persuade the jury. Because the other guy's argument is just as valid as their argument. And how am I going to convince this jury to see it my way? Well, you're going to entertain the hell out of them. You're going to put on a hell of a show. You're going to throw thunderbolts and lightning and really make them pay attention. That's all. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. You got to do something that makes the jury laugh. It's like a court jester. That's all you're doing. You go in there and you put on a hell of a show. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting on a hell of a show. My focus is nobody's to prove anything is true. So all you're trying to do is trying to convince the other side that your belief has more merit than the other side. Because, like I said, and people always used to boo-hoo me. And I said, look, if I had to represent Jesus Christ, I can make, if I had to prosecute Jesus Christ, I can make him look good. If I had to represent Hitler to make him look good, I'm almost sure I can make him look good. So no matter which way you want to go with anything, you could always spin it. That's what they say. Attorneys, they are torn, they twist, they doublespeak. So you could come at it from, like the Janus thing. You could look at it from both sides. Everything has a good and everything has an evil. Everything can be flipped both ways. Jesus had just the capacity. Right, Jesus had just as much capacity to do wrong and evil as any other man on earth, but he just chose not to. He just chose not to exercise that capacity that was within him, that was innate within him. He just chose not to. So it wasn't that he couldn't do it. It wasn't like he was some sort of freak of nature. He just couldn't do it because he chose not to do it. He had free will. So that's all I try to say to people. I said, no matter how you want to spin this thing, how do you want to go? How do you want to do this? And that's the whole thing. It's entertainment. It's ridiculous. That's all basically you're doing. You're trying to entertain the court. You're courting them. You're putting on a show. So if they see it in your paperwork, if they see in the paperwork what they're going to deal with when they walk into the open court, they go, I can't keep up with this guy. I'm going to want to court this guy. It's just like a guy trying to court a woman. If you see the woman pull up in a Rolls Royce, and she's got diamonds all over the place, and you're like, well, I bought her a Sarconian stone. I'm not even about trying to court this woman. Look at who she is. Look what she's got. I can't compete with this. And they're not even going to bother courting her. They're going to say, she's out of my league. And they're going to walk away.
Well, we got to learn those words.
What's that?
We got to learn those words and the way you write. Not everybody knows how to do that.
Well, that's why they just dump on society, and to me, it's not because of flow, right? It's not because of stuff they throw in here, whatever some of these people think of, like chemtrails. I'm not saying those aliens being microwaves or we got smart meters on the side of our house that's dumbing us down. Sure. But this has been going on for 30, 40 years. Coming down of America has been going on way before all this microwave stuff, way before these chemtrail stuff. This has been going on for a long time. I'm just teaching folks that Latin is a dead language. Well, the only problem with that is everything in legalese is written in Latin. So when I go into their courts, they're speaking a foreign language. And it might sound like what we were taught in school, but no, it's their legalese. That's the terms of art used within their society. I'm sure we could go down to some country in Africa or Australia, and these people are aboriginals, and they've been there for thousands of years. And I'm sure they use certain words that sound similar to ours. There's only so many sounds and so many clicks that you can make, the human voice can do. But it's going to mean something completely different. So within their society, that's what it means. In our society, it means something completely different.
Yeah, and you want to go pro se? What do you want to play attorney temporarily? Just for the case that's before the court? No, I don't want to play attorney ever. Because I'm not a master at their legalese. And I tried to master their legalese, and I'm sure I can make them run for their money. Anytime they want to go legalese with me, go round and round, I'm sure I give them a run for their money. Why? Because that's a whole new language you folks got to learn. It's like learning Chinese. Why learn to speak Chinese? I'm fine with the language I have. I don't have to speak Chinese. I'm not going to learn a whole new language. It's going to take years to learn a whole new language. Why would I want to? We got to learn that. We got to learn that simple language that you're using, and so that to compel the results and the performance that you don't have to compel anything. What I try to do is I try to say, folks, look, man, it's only about 10, maybe 20 words tops, and you really don't know. Other than that, you're wasting your time. Everything else, believe it or not, if it has 3 or 4 syllables in it, that's not one of the correct words. That's not one of the top 10. One of the top 10. It's easy when you know how. You got to know these words. You got to know how to put them together. Because, like you said, one little mistake, and boom, they can say, well,
That's it. You don't know what he's doing, and then just ignore him. Look, it's as simple as, hey, look, and the judge says, hey, I need you to swear in to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I asked the judge, hey, Judge, whose truth do you want to hear, mine or his?
Yeah.
I got first-hand testimony in here. Does anybody else have first-hand testimony? Does anyone have a claim? Or he has hearsay.
To me, you see, the only problem is you answered the judge. You responded.
Well, I was just playing the whole thing out. The scenario.
Yeah, well, I don't. See, that's what I'm saying. If somebody said, see, that's the difference between, say, your style, my style, and maybe everybody else's style. My style is I just look around like I'm bored out of my mind. It's like, sir, can I help you? Oh, you talking to me? Yeah, I asked you a question. Oh, what'd you ask, Bob? Oh, you can refer to me as judge. No, I refer to God as my judge. Well, how can I help you, Bob? Oh, no, you have to refer to me as judge. Well, your mama called you judge. Are you trying to say you're going to judge me? You mean I'm supposed to call you a verb? You want me to call you a verb? Or you want me to call you adjective? What do you want me to call you? You're going to judge me? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what you believe? You believe you're my judge. Is that what you're going to do? There's going to be judging going on here? Is that what it is? And you're going to judge me? You're going to judge another man? Really? You see what I'm saying? So I don't even play that game with them. I mean, everything I do is in writing. There's no reason to do anything else. There's no reason to utter any words in court. So these poor people who call me up all the time say, well, the judge is going to say this, the judge is going to say that, but God's going to speak.
Yeah, what? Yeah, the judge is going to say that.
Judge who? Is God speaking? That's my judge. Are you the voice of God? That's all I want to hear.
Yeah, what are you, a fucking mind reader?
That's all I want to hear.
They know what the judge is going to say.
What judge? God? See, you keep calling these men in black robe judges. I call them men in black robes. They ain't no better than me. They ain't no worse than me. They're a guy in a black robe. They're not my judge. They're a man in a black robe. Just whenever he wore an orange robe one day. Whenever he wore a purple robe. Whenever he wore a white robe. I don't care. He's just another man wearing a robe. So what? He likes to walk around in a robe. Fine. God bless him. I don't have to answer to any other man. Did I do you wrong, sir? No. Then what are you hoping to ask me again? What do you require of me? I don't require anything of you. Well, then it's
they want to challenge. No, they want to challenge them. They want to say, who's your oath of office? Are you?
Hey, who cares? Who cares? None of that stuff matters. Just another man talking to another man. There's nothing else to this. Well, it's the writer. You're trying way too hard.
That's like you said.
There's nothing else to this. There's nothing to this. Well, you're right. You're going to go to bed tonight thinking of that. Oh my God, there is absolutely nothing to this. There you go. How come it took me 80 calls to get through calls on this? I don't know.
You say you do everything. You say you do everything in writing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what people have to learn. How to do it in writing, but do it the right way. That's what I say to people. And like I said, when you deal with another man,
Then you gotta know how to move in open court.
Yeah. What if you wanted to sue a cop?
So simple, it's scary, man. Anybody listening to ADV show should not be on tonight listening. They should be watching Dancing with the Stars, man, and enjoying their lives because they said, I got it. I got this covered.
Yeah. See, my boy is getting harassed by cops, and I was wondering, how could he sue the cop?
Who's Lynn? Is Lynn still up
suing the cops?
I'm here. Lynn, you want to say what happened with that cop stop the other day in Texas?
Yes. I talked earlier about it, but Sunday night, 12 a.m., driving back after a long day of work, I was listening to Carl for 2 hours on the radio, on a recording, and he talked about giving them a bill when they ask you to do something. So when the cop stopped, he pulled up. Oh, you remember that? Yeah, he asked me to get out of the truck, and I said, is that an order? And he said, yes, that's an order. And I said, great, I'd be glad to fulfill your order. So I got out real quickly, real happily like, and he asked me to step back to his car, and I stepped back to his car. Well, I asked him, is that an order also? And he said, yes, that's an order. Yeah, I kind of laughed, and he said, why are you laughing? But he just said, he said, yes, that is an order. And he said, why are you laughing? I said, well, because you get paid by your sergeant, right, when you carry out his orders, don't you? Or I said at the end of the week, and he said, no, I don't get paid at the end of the week. I get paid every other week. I said, well, I'm going to go down and give your sergeant my bill for you giving me orders so that I'll get paid. And then he went back in his car, came back out, and handed me I gave him a passport for ID, not a driver's license. He handed me my passport and said, get out of here, you're scaring me. I was scaring him because I was jacked up on Carl's radio show, listening to that over and over again. I mean, back at 2 hours. I was jacked up, I was tired, and I was nervous.
Right. This is why I jumped that guest on Angela's show, and I was like, he's on mute me. Because this guy was saying, look, sometimes some of us are going to have to get tased. We're going to have to stand up these people, and it's better to die on your feet than crawl on your knees, and sometimes somebody's got to get shot, somebody's going to have to take a beating, somebody's going to have to make a stand on the side of the highway. I'm like, Angela, unmute me. Stop this guy. No, don't get people hurt. You know, that's not my style. Can I hurt people? Oh, you better believe I can hurt people. I'm a big boy. That's not my style. That's not my thing. Can I John Wayne it if I have to? Oh, you better believe it, but I'd rather Gary Cooper it. If you know the difference between the two actors, it was amazing. I love the Gary Cooper style. Now, could he put a whooping on you? Oh, you better believe it. Was he a big man? Oh, you better believe it. But he held back. until you push him too far, they snap. I don't believe in just duking it out because you failed to tip your hat to that lady, sir. It's like, oh, please, lighten up. It's not because last weekend, me and my boys, this is Brooklyn, so the cops had be acting like crazy. So he was outside chilling, and he got beef with the cops for some stupid thing. My boy Jed had bust the cop window because the cops was messing with him last year, and they left him alone for the summer, and then they started harassing him again for the fall, and they're like, yeah, they're just trying to feel quoted now. And I'm like, okay, so what harass, dude? Dude, see, this is what I don't understand. I'm from New York, man, so you don't got to go there. I know. Man, I'm from East New York, and then out to Richwood, then we moved out to the island. Yeah. I know New York. And like I said, I'm telling you, when it's stop and frisk stuff, I would love it. I would love it if a cop stopped and frisked me. Yeah. I'd say he's not in order. And I'd hand him a ball. Yeah. I was thinking that too. Because when it happened, because they'll walk down the street and see him and be like, get off the sidewalk, and he'll just walk out scared. Yeah, I was sitting there because they had came and we was outside chilling, and they said, guys, this area is what did he say? He said, oh yeah, it's locked down now. Y'all gotta get off the block, and he had to put his hand on his holster. I said, is that an order? And he was like, no, it's not an order. I'm like, oh, so why do you have to do it on your holster? Shit, they're not stupid, man. The cops know see, New York City cops ain't as dumb as you think they are. You'll never see them chasing somebody down the road 900 miles an hour. You ain't gonna see that like an LA cop. LA cops are dumb. You ain't gonna see no cop chasing because they said, look, we'll catch him eventually. If we don't catch him today, we'll catch him tomorrow. If he's an F up today, he'll be an F up tomorrow. He'll be an F up a year from now. Believe me, we'll catch him. We're in no hurry. He ain't gonna know that. Yeah. So the only problem with my guy is everyone is so scared. I'm like, yo, he's just a man in a uniform. Charge him with a belt. No, I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? They're like, Washington's got an order when he gave you he's just like me. If my uncle was a New York City cop, then I wanted to be a New York City cop. So my uncle walked me around Manhattan. I'm wanted to tell the whole story. I'll do that some other day when I got hours and hours to kill, because it was a lot of fun and teaching me what it means to be a New York City cop. But he said, look, be a fireman. Be a New York City fireman. Now, if you want to do something else, don't be a cop. He said, this job is a joke. And like I said, because they all learn the rules. I learned the rules about being a New York City cop when I was 14, 15 years old. This guy did it exactly right. He said, not an order. No. That's right, it's not. Why? Because I can tell you what to do. You just have to believe I can tell you what to do. But can I tell you what to do? Absolutely not. I'm your public servant. I can't tell the public what to do. But has anyone ever collected on the show? They'll try to do it. Well, that's a lot, Lynn, man. That was great. See, because like I said, hopefully, Lynn, you just helped some other lady used to listen to my show all the time. She was like 67 years old. She got busted up window, got busted out. She got dragged through the window, live on air. And she got tased. Her name is Janet Marie. If you don't believe me, I'm sure you can find her call. She called up 2 people from her telephone, and they had her on a conference call, and they tape recorded the cop smashing in the window, her screaming, dragging her out the window, like dragging Aunt B out the window, you know, and tasing her. Just because she's going to do this Yankee Doodle Dandy stuff, saying, I'm rather stand on my feet than crawl on my knees. Hey, man, just it's out in order, sir. You're an ex-school teacher. They know who you are.
Janet Marie's a little firecracker.
She's a firecracker, but she could have died. Now, is it worth being a firecracker? Or just hand a freaking cop a bill when it's all done and said, and they're going to have to pay her, or leave her license or not?
Has anyone ever collected on a bill like that?
Lynn was the first one who actually was able to do it. Who was able to keep the mental state because he said he was all jacked up on my call. Finally logged on. Hallelujah. I'm trying to log on since 8:15, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. That's why you sent it. So you sent a bill. So you sent a copy to the sergeant. And
no, I did not. It was paperwork. Oh, go ahead, Lynn. Go ahead. You say.
I did not go anywhere forward past that. He let me go. I forgot to ask the cop his name, so I don't know if he get the bill too.
Yeah. See, there's a sergeant that told you folks that's what happened to me. That freaked out the cops so freaking bad about. Well, I haven't had my car on the road for at least 3 years. So this was like 4 years ago I did it to a cop coming down a mountain over here. I did the same damn thing Lynn did. But I didn't have no front tags on, I didn't have no inspection sticker, no registration sticker, nothing. He got so freaked out, he just gave me back my stuff on back to his car.
If you're confident and if you're joking with them, they are going to question what they should do next. They don't know that. They're used to people being intimidated or being arrogant with them. I was nervous, but I was laughing, I was joking, I was trying to make sure, I wanted him to know that I was not trying to hurt him. I showed him my hands. I was in the van, he couldn't see me, so I stuck my hands out the window and told him waving around.
Yeah, you told me, go tell the whole story, man. You got time. Go ahead, tell me exactly what it is. So the next people don't. So, see, this is what I'm saying. Lynn, I get at least 900 to 1,100 people downloading this call after we hang up. So you can spread this to 1,100 people right freaking now, and then they're going to tell people, hey, you got to hear this crazy story from this guy named Lynn in Texas.
God, I don't misquote it.
No, you did great.
When he came, the light was turned on. I was doing about 7.
Tell them why they stopped you. Go ahead. Say you were speeding or reckless or something. Go ahead. Tell everybody what.
I was speeding 70 in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. I was a half a mile from home, and he turned on his light. So the first thing I did, I slowed down, moved over to the right lane, and waved him around. He kept following me with the light right behind me. Then he turned on this bright light that blinded. Actually, it hurt my eyes when he turned on the light, and that kind of pissed me off. So I knew, I stopped in, I pulled over, I kept waving him around, and I stuck both arms out the window after I pulled over to wave him around.
And why do you do that?
Well, that kind of raises a flag. He knows that I can't be, I don't have a gun, I don't have a weapon, I'm not trying to be belligerent, I'm just trying to show him that I want him to go around. I'm out of his way, go on, there's an emergency, I'm not the emergency, but...
So the first reason is correct, because you want to show me unarmed, so when he shoots you, you could show on his video webcam, because hopefully these guys are starting to broadcast it live back someplace, hopefully. Yeah. And then the second, right, and that's the first reason, so you got to prove that you were never a threat to this man. The second reason is because you want to wave him around, because I learned this from some Spanish man. It sounded like a young guy who just was going to keep, you guys, a lot of people make fun of him on the YouTube videos. He just kept going past the police department in LA a million times without tags, just waiting to get stopped. Now, I don't know who this young guy is. He's like 30, 35 years old. He's funny as hell. But he actually read it out of the California code. He said, the police handbook, if you pull over when the yellow or red lights, green lights, purple lights, whatever lights flashing, when the driver in front of you pulls over, when you flip on your lights, that is a surefire guarantee, no doubt about it, will stand up in any court that man believed that you had control over him.
that you were his daddy, that you had the right to stop him. So what Len was doing, he never showed that he was surrendering. He was never showing that the man had jurisdiction or control over him. What he was doing by waving both arms around was saying, I know you're an emergency vehicle. Somebody must be getting robbed. There must be a liquor store. There must be a little old lady getting, raped or mutilated. Go around me. Please go around me. Keep going me. I want to help you. See what I'm saying? That's why I just had to expand on that a little bit. But go ahead, Len. Other than
the next thing, I was in a van, so he could not see me unless he comes beside of me or in front of me. So that's another reason both hands were out, and his video could show my hands. So he walked to the passenger side, knocked on the window, shined the light in my eyes, and I said, roll down the window. I said, no, come to the other side, please. I can't reach it. Well, I didn't say why. I said, come to the other side. So he walked around the other side, stood right in the front part of the van and hollered, first he said, can I see your driver's license? And I said, no, I'm not using my driver's license. I'm not in commerce. But I will give you an ID. So I had a passport. I handed the passport. And he said, so you don't have a driver's license? I said, well, I have a driver's license. I'm just not using it. He said, well, why won't you give it to me? I said, well, I'm not in commerce. I don't need it. I said, if you want my driver's license, you go look on your computer, download it from TLEX, which is Texas law enforcement information where they get your driver's license from on their cars. You download it from that and you can get my driver's license, but I don't have it. I can't give it to you. So then he said, please step out of the car. And that's when I said, oh, great, is that an order? He said, yes, that's an order. I said, good, I will gladly fulfill any order that you have. So I stepped out of the car, I stood there, he looked at the passport, then he shined his light in my eyes and said, come back to my car, please, and come around behind the van and stand here. So I went and I said, is that an order? He said, yes, that's an order. So I went and stood there. He walked back to his van, his car. He looked in the computer, could not find my name based on my passport, came back up and said, I can't find you in the database. Write down on this piece of paper your name, please. So I said, on the piece of paper, I said, gladly, is that an order? He said, yes. I took the piece of paper, wrote down my name. I said, first, I, a man. He said, don't do that. Just put your name down, please. Jimmy Lynn Honeycutt. No, that's my name. And I gave it to him. I said, that's it. He said, well, do you have a surname or something of that? And I said, yes, I do. Sorry, I forgot to put that. Because he saw that on the passport. I don't use I'm a junior. My father's dead, so I don't use junior anymore. But, so I gave that to him, and he walked back to the car, came back up and said, step back to the car, please, for me. And I said, yes, good. Is that another order? And he said, yes, that's an order. And I laughed. That's when I laughed as I was walking back. I had my back to her, turned to him, walking to the car. He said, what's so funny? I said, well, you collect a check when your sergeant gives you an order, don't you, at the end of the week? He said, no, I don't get paid every week. I said, well, I'm going to hand your sergeant a bill tomorrow after we get finished for you giving me all these orders, and I'm carrying them out. Then he went back in his car. He said, wait here. He went back in his car, and 30 seconds later came back out, handed me my passport, and said, get out of here. You're making me nervous. I think that is an accurate display of what happened, or an accurate account.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's good nervous you made him. I mean, he said, man, eventually the cops are going to say, are you jacked up on call?
Yeah. Are you drunk on call?
Well, that's what you said. You said, also jacked up on call, listening to call for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I had this one. So that's what I'm saying. This morning the cops are going to start asking folks, hey, are you jacked up on call? Have you been listening to call for 2 hours on this road?
Yeah, but I think a lot of it had to do with my confidence and my candor about, that was it. I mean, if I would have been angry and showed it, which I was pissed. I was pissed that I'd driven 2 hours and I was tired. I worked 16 hours and I wanted to get home. I was kind of upset, but then I was nervous too. But after listening to the call, I mean, heck, who can get nervous? All you can get is confidence.
You just laugh and say, this is funny.
Yeah, I got a question. Yes. I got a question about that scenario. If something else would have happened, let's say everything happened exactly like you said it, and he came back after you wrote down the name, because obviously it was there. But let's say he decided to hand you write out some sort of a ticket and then hand it to you, just because whatever reason he decided to just do it anyway. What would be the course of action if that happened. I would have taken the ticket and said thank you and walked away. Right. And then I would handle the ticket with the next step. Right. The cop, yeah, I know the cop's only doing his job. He's there, my brother was a cop in North Carolina, so I know what they go through, and I know they're getting paid by the system. That's why they are not going to change the system. It's going to take us to change the system. Right, because, well, let's say, okay, so you get the ticket. He tells you got to sign it. I would sign it. You sign it. And then sign it. Yeah. Wait a second. Wait a second. Your name in front of the name.
No. What you would say is, What you would say is, the cop would say, sign here. Then what would you say to the cop?
Is that an order?
Is that an order?
That's right. Everything that comes out of their mouth asking you to do something, is that an order? I've got to remember. That's right. In order. That's right. That's in order. Well, let's continue the scenario. Okay, yes. Well, wait, there's one thing that you should ask. If the cop would have said, I had one cop to ask me 3 times for a driver's license, and I said, I'm not using a driver's license. The 4th time he asked me, he stepped back, put his hand on his gun, and he said, I'm going to ask you one more time, do you have a driver's license? I grabbed the driver's license out of the dash and gave it to him right away. Well, it's the implied force, of course. Yeah. Right, that's what happened. Well, he's got his hand on the gun.
You had pulled over and shown that you are consenting, that you are...
No, you missed the beginning. Scotty, you missed the beginning. Scotty, you missed the beginning. Where he said...
I caught it the other night. I didn't miss the beginning, I caught it the other night.
Okay,
what I'm saying is the same thing. When you hand the license, you're giving them the consent also, so he just delayed it. Doesn't matter.
No, he didn't, because he said that he felt that he was threatened. If somebody says, give me your diamond ring, you say, get out of here. He pulls a gun at you, say, oh, here you go, sir. Here's your diamond ring.
It's implied force.
Yeah, I think that. What do you do with it?
Using a piece of plastic. Well, what I should have done, I should have said, are you intending to use that weapon? I should have spoke the word weapon and him intending to use it. That would imply,
you could have said, you could have said, are you threatening me, sir?
Oh, you're threatening me, yes, with that weapon.
Right. You could have said, right. Are you going to use force to relieve me of my property, sir?
That gives him a conscious thought, oh, wait, I got a weapon, I can kill this guy. He doesn't know what
you just asked him, say, are you going to use force to relieve me of my property?
And if he says yes, does it do any good? Then does it do any good to say, okay, well, under threat and duress, here it is?
Yeah. Nope.
My question was, if you actually do sign it, there's a few options. You said sign it under threat and duress.
Dude, I would do everything. And that's every single thing he wants. You want my driver's license? Here you go. You want registration? Is that an order? Here you go. You want my insurance card? Is that an order? Here you go. You want me to sign my name? Here you go. You want me to sign Elvis Presley's name? Here you go. You want me to shine your shoes? Here you go. Is that an order? 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 Is that? That's all I do, like a parrot. He knows what you're doing. He's not stupid, just like the New York City cop. When the other guy just said, hey, is that an order? He said, absolutely not. A New York City cop knows he can't order you. A Texas cop thinks he can.
Right.
Oh, they're going to be retrained, believe me.
Well, a Florida cop thinks he can. A lot of places think they can. That's the problem. So the next step, let's say we have to
ask him. Like Lynn proved it now. Lynn proved the child dog. The Texas cops think they could order the public around. And so now, when you go out there in Florida, go ahead and bring back your story and say, yeah, that's exactly what Lynn said. The man in New York, like the man in New York just said, no, what makes the cops not an order? He said, absolutely not. So it's like, he might have thought the cop was going to say, yes, that's an order.
You can get 100 different scenarios. I was hoping he would say yes. You can get 100 different scenarios happen. It just depends on how you're gonna what you're gonna do next. So
there's a bunch of different scenarios. There's countless scenarios that might happen. But the cops only have 2 responses: yes or no. Is that an order? Yes or no.
Absolutely. It all depends it all depends on your enthusiasm and your confidence in what you're doing also. Remember that just doing stuff.
Order in relation to the orders you're talking about now? you mentioned the other night, I think it was Angela's show, a minute order.
It's a minute order. It's minute because it's just little, and it's a minute order, or you can say it's a minute because it's done right there on the spot in the middle of open court. And that's all my minute order is basically what.
Go ahead. I know what you said now, Carl, what you said was to Malik, you said the dynamics of the fluid shift of a jurisdictional change and the judge witnessed it.
Right, that's right, he paid witness, that's right. That's right, and he understood it implicitly.
Because the lady spoke in court, he realized that he was going from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction that had precedence over what he was treating at the beginning. Is that right?
Exactly. And basically, that's damn close, and that's all you really need to know, because, like I said, he did not so much that he realized what the woman was doing. See, the common law is not written, so everybody knows that the only purpose of government is to secure and protect property, and she was requiring the judge to secure and protect the property, and he had no other choice. No matter what the code book says in writing, or no matter what the statute reads, his ears only want to pick up the unwritten law. He's not listening anymore to what the state is moving, because the state is moving written law. He knows that this is common law, and common law is unwritten. He's waiting to hear something that's unwritten. And once he realizes this is what I wait for, and when I hear these certain key words and these certain key phrases in a certain pattern, and it wasn't like it had to be a rigid pattern. All it was a lady saying, I was robbed of property, I require court to return my property. That's it. Require to return to restoration of property. It's not my property, it was my property. He's redundant. It's the same effing word. You don't say my property. Believe me, if you do put this in writing, it's just like the restoration of property. They will actually do that little thick thing. It's called SIC, and they will put the four corner back and they'll put the word mine there. And to me, that's retarded. They're trying to fix my paperwork. It's like, no, not my property. I need the restoration of property, because of means it's a part of me. I already said it by saying of. Of is part of me. For is for my benefit. Is a benefit. Is something that I get that's out external to me. But of means it's internal. So it's of property. So I was like, of my property, because that's retarded. I already said it by using the word of. Why do I have to repeat myself? I don't. So like I said, it's funny, but the judge was just waiting for some. She got extremely, extremely lucky that somehow somebody competent was sitting in a family court. I don't know if she was in family court or superior court. I don't know where she was sitting, but I'm telling you, family court hearing officers are just any bozo walking through the courthouse that day, and they say, hey, you want to sit on the bench today? The actual superior court judge isn't here today. Would you like to fill in? Anybody. They can pick anybody out of the crowd to be a hearing officer in family court. So I've got to ask Bernie, who was family court, superior court, I got to ask him, how does Arizona roll? Because how did you get a guy or a woman who's actually that competent, who understood something so crystal clear and so simple, and they carried it out? How did you, who was this person? Go on Judgepedia and give this guy 4 stars or 5 stars. You say this judge was the best effing judge on planet Earth. Credit him. Credit him with doing a good job. Because they need to know we need to know who's doing a good job. And say, oh, no, I'll wait for Judge Reynolds, man. Judge Reynolds, right? He knows the law. I want him. Who are you? I'm just a fill-in judge. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll wait for this guy. Because it's funny, a lot of the judges get paid according to how many cases they get assigned.
Right.
By contractors. So, like I said, it's all business. And as long as they can keep the numbers up and keep the docket flowing, those judges are rewarded, because it's all about the money.
Who's assigning them the case? Is it the prosecutor or is it somebody else?
The court clerk. It's a separate office. The court clerk is separate from the head judge. There's 2 offices in every public courthouse. There's the office of the clerk, and then it's the judges. They're separate. The head judge is the building manager. The court clerk keeps track of the files. She keeps the seal. He keeps the documents, and the head judge is the building manager.
Yeah, and that's why I'm in my.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to mute everybody. There's some kids kicking back there. So whoever just tried to ask me something, just star 1, star 8. I don't remember here, star 8. You guys, so I don't know who did that with the kids. There you go. But there's JC in Florida. I unmuted him. There's Liberty Hill. I'm going to unmute that. I know it's not Richard. Let's see, Richard Brown, Liberty Hill. Kwandi. I know he never does anything wrong.
Hey, Carl. In my case, Galveston, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just unmuting everybody that I know behaves themselves.
In my case in Galveston, it's the court clerk that sent me notice of trial. I used a letter responding to the court clerk asking the court clerk if I have harmed her or her property, and if I have, I'm glad to compensate. This is another speeding ticket.
Yeah, wasn't she just making you aware that the plaintiff would like to see you appear on a certain day at a certain time so we could get the matter settled?
Well, I asked.
Because obviously you're not capable of handling it on your own without appearing in open court. Yeah. See? There you go. That's it. Because every time I get it, like I said, people go back to my show a year or two ago, I don't care. You'll hear, he always say, I got a ticket on a Sunday. It was the last time I got a ticket. It was back in 2007, 2009, whatever it was. And it was February, March, and I got it on Sunday, 3 o'clock. By 9 o'clock Monday morning, I was standing in the prosecuting attorney's lobby.
They asked me not to come. They asked me not to come to court for 10 days after getting the ticket because it wouldn't be in their system. And Galveston was 4 hours.
I'm not going to court.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to because when I get stopped on the side of the road, I ask down here in Virginia. Okay, not here in the Commonwealth. If you get stopped by a state trooper, you say, who's going to prosecute this? And he's going to prosecute it. So all the communications is between you and him. It sounds crazy, but that's what it is. Fault is going to be the plaintiff in this case. And he's going to say, I am. Oh, good. Then all my communications is going to go directly to you. Somebody else sent me that. I don't remember what state it is, so if he's listening, he sent me something. Maybe it was Florida. I don't really remember what state it was, but all I remember, somebody sent me something, and it said state of, like, Florida, representing the state of Florida, Officer Smedley or Spiegelman, or I don't remember the man's name, had an S in it. And that's the person you want to talk to, because he's the one who's going to be representing the state. So obviously he's the one you want to settle a debt with, because he's claiming you owe a debt to society. So you're going to want to settle it with him, because he represents the person who was supposedly injured, harmed, or there was a breach of a contract. So if you want to put stays on, you can tell the court, hey, I'm still working with Officer Smedley because he represents him, and I'm just waiting for an answer. There you go. You got up with wrong people. You got up with wrong people. Court has nothing to do with anything.
Well, no, wait. Here it says, Dear my name, the above case has been scheduled for pre-trial conference before the municipal court of the city of Galveston, located so-and-so, office so-and-so. Please see that the above defendant is present at this hearing. Charge is speedy.
Right.
And this is signed by the court clerk.
That's right. Just like if you were suing somebody for doing something, for speeding in your car. So you had a 1932 Lincoln Zephyr, and you told the guy, hey man, I got a GPS unit on this thing, and I'll let you borrow my car, but if I catch you doing 100 miles an hour and GPS catches you, I'm going to sue your ass in court because you're tearing up the bearings, you're tearing up the seals, you're tearing up the transmission. I'm going to sue you for 10 grand every time my GPS unit picks up that you're speeding. So obviously you're going to sue him, and then all the court clerk is doing is like, look, all we want is a pre-hearing conference because you guys should have settled this thing. Why it's going to pre-hearing means that you haven't settled the matter between the parties. So we have this on our docket, so a couple of weeks before the actual trial, we're going to try to do a pre-hearing, and we're going to try to make this, just try to whittle this thing out and say what needs to be you boys, that you can't seem to figure this thing out without bringing this matter into an open court. And so I put
a response in before that saying that I wrote it in handwriting right in front of the court clerk that I require an injury to a party and or property, and I will compensate anyone that I have harmed.
Okay, and who did you send that to?
I gave it to the court clerk right there. She stamped it and gave it back.
Okay, she is not the plaintiff. Who was the one who defined themselves as the plaintiff in that case?
Well, it says, it doesn't say in the letter above, it says the state of Texas versus me.
There you go. You send it to the secretary. You address it to the governor. You send a copy to the governor, Secretary of State, and says, "Hey, I believe that you folks are making a claim that I caused harm. Are you going to bring the state of Texas to court so I could cross-examine my accuser?"
Wait, who do I send it to? The Attorney General?
No, you send it. No, I would send it to the Secretary of State and to the governor's office because they are technically the head of the Republic of Texas, whatever you guys call it. State of Texas, Republic of Texas. I don't know what you guys call it. So you guys a state or a republic?
It's a state of Texas. Is what they call it.
Okay, well there you go. Well then you send it to whoever is the person who is supposed to be in charge of the state of Texas. Just like if Coca-Cola was suing me, what would I do? Send it to the bottle packer? No. Would I send it to a branch manager? No. I send it to the president of Coca-Cola.
So that's what I need to say. I need to ask the court clerk who is the state of Texas that I can settle this matter with.
Who's the plaintiff? I'd like to know who the plaintiff is, and you have a mailing address for the plaintiff, so I can answer him properly.
Great. Okay.
So because she has to have the address of the plaintiff on file, she has to, because she has to also send him a letter, or her letter, saying that, okay, you know what, we also need your body to be here for a pre-hearing day.
And if they don't give you a specific name, every time you
if they did give you a specific name, whatever they said Texas, how do you know? How do you know there's not some guy named Texas? I've heard a lot of other crazier names that in Texas. So I want to see Mr. Texas appear in court.
Dear state of Texas.
No, whatever it is. Right. If you let the court clerk tell you, instead of you guessing what it is, you tell her. You know what? I don't honestly know who I've done wrong here. Who's the plaintiff in this case? I know I'm the defendant. Who's the plaintiff? And so, well, that's the plaintiff. Do you have the plaintiff's mailing address so I could send them a proposal to settle this matter, before going to open court? You should say, well, it's in the back of the ticket. Can you please write it down to me, the person you're going to send this to, the agency you're going to send this to, the post office box, or the mailing address that you're going to send this letter to? Like, I got this letter to appear. Obviously, you sent the letter to the other side to appear. The same exact letter. Except instead of circling defendant, you circle plaintiff. Where did you send this letter to? Because I can't figure who I did wrong. Because I want to compensate him. I want to settle this before we go to open court. Can you please send directly to whoever you sent this letter to?
But the letter is addressed to a defendant. Why do you want to settle it?
Because the plaintiff will never appear. You can call me, you want to call Lucky Concha, so you guys are so into this name game crap. I couldn't care less what you call me, sticks and stones, I'll hit my phones. Buddy, I don't care. Call me anything you want. They got you guys so hung up on uppercase, lowercase, titles, birth certificates, defendant, I don't care. Call me anything you want. I don't care. The plaintiff must appear.
Because they're calling you, you're not accepting it, you're just...
They know. Nobody's calling you. You believe you see the word defendant on there. You believe that's the word defendant. They're not telling you what the word defendant is. You went to public school, you put on the big boy pants, you put on a big brain hat, you got the big brain cap going on, and you're the one who thinks you know what the word defendant means. You make them define it. Right, he's calling me a Lucky Charm unicorn. What if somebody handed me something that was a chicken tap dance all across it? I don't give a rat's ass. It's like, man, did you send a letter like this to the other side? Yeah. Can you tell me who you sent it to? Because I can't make heads or tails out what this is saying. Can I try to work something out with the other side before we come to open court? Because honestly, I don't have a clue about anything else written on here.
Then why are you here? But there's nothing.
Because I got some letter came here and it's all gobbledygook, and you only really have a pretty good idea. It says the address, and it says the address is here, and I kind of got the idea of what a date is. But all this other stuff in between, honestly, man, I need the other side of the file. What the hell's going on? I really don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if I've done anybody wrong. I'd like to know who the other person is, so I can make restitution, compensate for any harm, injury, or damages.
So I'm totally confused. I found this, and I want to make sure that I take you for anything that I did wrong.
Yeah, right? Obviously, I got my checkbook, I got my pen, I just filled it out, my paper's nice and warm, I'm good to go. But fresh new checkbook, and man, it smells and came off the presses, nice and warm.
I want to start writing out paper, man. I want to start selling my debt. Right. No, you realize like Lynn did. Like this guy Lynn did. You just kissed their living everlasting ass. And everybody who says to me, this is why I put my picture, and this is why I put where I live, because everybody was calling me a candy ass. Everybody said, well, you should be a tough guy like Alex Jones, and he says he screams with a bullhorn, and he'll rather die on his feet than crawl on his knees. I'm not calling my ass on knees clowns. I'm not getting down to that level. Fighting who? Fighting them? Who is this them? You mean fighting a bad dream? Who's this them? Does not exist. Who you going after, Alex? Oh, well, you know it's them. It's the Illuminati. It's the boogeyman. It's the Pope. It's the Queen. She's an 80-year-old driving lady. What are you talking about, man? I'd be surprised if she can make it to the bathroom on her own at her age. You know, what are you talking about? She's not coming after you, buddy. You just chill. She's the blame game. Right. And that's what I'm saying, man. The blame game. Oh, they're coming after me. Oh, no. But, right. They didn't get out of that. They didn't get out of their bad dream stage when they were 3 years old. Mommy and Daddy must have ran a These kind of people must have been allowed to leave the light on at night. See, he sleeps with a night light. See, none of my doors are locked here. All my keys on my car. 2, 3 of my windows are open day and night, so the cats can jump in and out. I leave my house unlocked. The same way it was when we lived in New York. When we moved out of a house in New York, we lived in the second or third biggest county in New York. Scotty could tell you, Suffolk County's got like 3 million people in that one county alone. I think that's all about equal size. When we moved, the people said, yay, goodbye. And they said, well, we're waiting for you to hand over the keys. My mom said, you see any locks on the doors? And they're like, you are going to lock in the front door? Nope. Got a lock in the back door? Nope. Lock in the garage doors? Nope. What? We don't live in fear. If they want to come in, they're coming in. Who? Anybody. They're going to kick in the door. Believe me, it'll take you 10 seconds to kick in the door. I don't care what you think you're going to do to stop them. Don't drive a car through it. Like I said, folks, that's how most people did robberies up there when I was a kid. They'd get these big old Brady Bunch station wagons, they'd load all their buddies up in it, and drive right through one of these big wrought iron gate storefront windows, or right through these big old iron gate roll-down fences. They'd slam that station wagon, and everybody jump out the back window. Put all the stuff in the back of the station wagon, and haul ass out of there in about 3 minutes. It was fantastic, watching people how they did that stuff. I don't care how you try to block. If they were coming in, they're coming in. So why stress it? You know, think, look, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just do the best you can. Say, hey, you know what? You know, it happens. It happens. You know, like I said, thank God we lived in a neighborhood that people covered each other's backs. You know, and everybody would watch each other's stuff. So that's why, like I said, it was funny when they tried to mingle the communities in New York City. It was a nightmare. It was even worse in Boston. Those people really had it kind of upset. It's like, no. The Puerto Ricans are there, the Italians are there, the blacks are there, the Romanians are there, they got all the Italians are there, the Chinese are there. Everybody's got their own little pocket. Why? Because they all protect their own. Because we don't need a police department. Because we all know you either don't belong in this family, you're not a citizen of this community, you're not a part of this society. Please stay out because you don't know our rules, you don't know our bylaws, you don't know our customs, you don't know our beliefs. We'll leave you alone, you leave us alone. So during the 70s, holy cow, they just started forcing everybody to be bused, forcing people, and then New York City exploded. That place was a total circus for about 10, 20 years. It was great to be a kid because it was constantly fighting, arguing. It was a total drama all the time. They went from nice little quiet neighborhoods. Like put it this way. I went up to 110th Street one time. I remember I was hauling windows up there in a straight truck. Not a tractor trailer, just a straight truck, and then we were building up and fixing the projects, and there was city Section 8 housing, so they had to be aluminum windows, not these bullshit Pella wooden ones. We actually had to bring nice, good, quality aluminum windows up to the projects. I got out of the truck, and it was on lunchtime, and I started walking down 110th Street, started going east. And a couple of black guys came up to me and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, what? I said, sorry, sir, I'm going to go to lunch. It's like 12 o'clock, and I'm going up the road. I'm going to try to find something to eat. He said, well, there's a deli over there, and there's a deli over there. I said, okay, thank you, sir. Went to the deli, got my food. They watched me, made sure I went to the deli, that I wasn't going around that neighborhood to try to buy drugs or something. Got my food, walked right past them, said, have a nice day, guys. So they said, all right, bye. And they watched out to make sure I wasn't coming up into their neighborhood to buy drugs. Everybody covered everybody back then. And like I said, the Italians, and like I said, when my little sister died, her name was Coralie. And the neighborhood bought a Madonna for my mom, well, for the family. And when a child dies, you put a Madonna out on the front. It's called a stoop, like a porch. You put it in front on a stoop in this little section before, like a downstairs basement, or another apartment down there. You put a Madonna there, and the neighbors come by and say, "Oh, baby must have died," and they put a couple of dollars around the Madonna to help with the funeral expenses. So, like I said, but if you had a Chinese kid walk through, a black kid walk through, a Puerto Rican walk through, he would understand the customs of these Italians. And he might say, "Oh, wow, look at these dumb people. They just leave money laying all around. I want to pick up some money." He's going to get his arms broken. He said, "Well, hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing?" That's our customs practices, policies, and beliefs. That's our common law. It's unwritten. You come and steal our money, we're going to break your legs. And no court, no jury's going to ever find you guilty for doing that. Not when we were kids, not when I was a kid. Nowadays, they probably say, "You can't just do that. You can't just beat somebody up because they took $2 or $3 from that statue." Like, what? Everybody knows that's what happens. You get your hand broken. What? We've been doing it forever. So see, that's what I'm trying to say. When that's our common law. It's not written down. Everybody in the neighborhood knows what you can and cannot do when you go through a certain section. That's what I'm trying to say when you go into court. When you deal with a traffic court, that's their common law. When you deal with the United States tax court, they're operating in their common law. It's common to them. They all know the judge sits there, the secretary sits there, the court reporter sits there. They don't have to have a blueprint. They don't write it down. Everybody just knows. Why? Because this is the way we've been doing it for the last 200 years. Why? I don't know why. This is just the way it was when I got here. It's their common law. So when I hear somebody say, "Well, what about a part of this common law?" Common to who? At what point in time? To what culture? To what beliefs? To what standards? To what? Who? What? Where? To what educational level? Common law is unwritten. It's the customs of the people, or the people who are participating in that little get-together, in that little society, in that little district, in that little group. That's their common beliefs. That's their customs. The Algonquins, the Arapahoes, the Eskimos, the Aborigines. That's their customs. They're operating in their common law, their common beliefs. And their common beliefs, the world is flat. That is their law. The law of flatness, the law of gravity, the law of physics. In their law of physics, the world is flat. God bless them. If that's what they want to believe, are they hurting anybody? No. God bless them. So common law, and everybody says, "Oh, it's not common law." Common law has got 11 distinct characteristics and qualities, and it's very complicated. Common law. Whose common law? Maybe the ancient Egyptians had 5,712 steps to their common law. I don't know. Maybe they had a whole pageantry before they moved somebody into a court. I don't know. But my neighborhood, you had 2 steps. You touch and you get your hands broken. There you go. That was our custom, policies, practice, and belief. No jury, no cop, no warning tickets, no notice. So like I said, common law, you guys are getting, it's really complicated, and it's a lot simpler than you guys are making it out to be. You guys are, hey Carl, the Idiots show, so you guys, hopefully the guys who are listening kind of have an idea of where I'm going with this common law stuff now.